was told not to set my sights too high. People in town said Bethlehem was last in line when it came to God's blessings, and by the time he got around to us, he had run out. But I refused to listen to my neighbors. I thought I could live a blessed life. Well, I thought, what's wrong with these people? Why can't they trust in God's goodness? They have no faith. I did not want to be like them. So, and as my forefather said, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And at first, I thought I had it all figured out. I was the first one of all my girlfriends to get married, and oh, Elam was so handsome, so strong, so wise, and he took good care of me. Then, God blessed us with 2 sons, Naomi and Lyga. My friends loved me, and well, they were all a little jealous, but who could blame them? God had rewarded my faith with a blessed life. I believed that. I was so young, so naive. So when the famine hit, it took a while for it to impact us. Elam had a good bit of grain stored away, and but eventually even we ran out of sustenance. The famine was severe, and I watched as my friends were ravaged by lack. And I wondered, how long would it be before we were starving too? Well, I wasn't as worried as I could have been. I mean, I knew Elam would think of something, and he did. He was a man of vision. And he told me he inquired with some merchants he trusted, and they said that conditions were much better in a place called Moab. So we packed up and moved to Moab. And it was so difficult, leaving everything I knew and loved, to move to a strange land and become a stranger. But it also felt like, an escape from disaster. Moab was a chance for life. So, that's the way I chose to think of it. And I found ways to be grateful. Yeah, I thought, hey, so it's not a first choice. But we were together. We were happy. And compared to the alternative, starving to death, well, I thought we were doing pretty well. But I remember it like it was yesterday. I had just gone out to fetch some water, and as I was approaching the house, I saw Malon kneeling in front of what looked like a pile of laundry. And the look on his face was, I could tell he was upset. And then Kilion was running toward me, and the look on his face told me there was something wrong. And I says, what is it? What's wrong? And he says, it's dead. He fell. What do you mean he fell? Well, he was climbing the cliff to go after the sheep that had wandered off, and he fell. Well, where is he? Well, he's here. There. He was looking at the pile of laundry stretched out in front of Malon. And I could see the white sheet was streaked with red. And I dropped my water pot and I ran to Elam. But he stopped me and he said, no, Mother, don't look. He hit his head. He's gone. Well, I pulled away and I ran to Elam and I said, if I could just get to him, he'll be all right. If I could just hold him, he'll wake up. I just had to believe he was alive, right? But it didn't matter what I believed. And it didn't matter how tightly I clung to his body. And it didn't matter how fervently I prayed. My Elimelech was dead. My husband was gone. and I was a widow. Grief is a process that makes it its own rules, moves at its own pace. I couldn't begin to figure it out, much less control it. After all my resolve, for all my effort, for all my ideals that I preached to everyone, for all my faith, this was something that I just couldn't master. But as unruly as this grief process was, I figured, well, after all, it's still a process, so eventually, I thought, well, maybe I'll come out better having had the experience. Just like when Mahlon and Chilion took Moabite wives, and I felt panic and disgust that my two precious boys were gonna defile themselves by marrying these heathen women, whose people, by the way, sacrificed their own babies to their bloodthirsty God. Well, I tried to console myself with the thought that, hey, this trial is just for a season. It'll all be all right. Trust the process. Yeah, and didn't everyone have to go through hardship? I still had two sons that assured me of a future somewhat, and well, after a while, the boys' wives, they started to win a place in my heart. I mean, Orpah and Ruth, they were lovely, and they were good and loving wives. So eventually, they became like my own daughters to me. But you know, the pain of life was always with me. I mean, the famine had never fully ended, and the Moabite customs, they were just so strange to me. The food, it never tasted right, and the music, it wasn't for me. And there wasn't a day that went by, not one day, that I didn't miss my Elim. Eventually, I started to feel like my old self again. Things started to make sense again. Then Chilion comes in from the fields one evening, complaining that he was more tired than usual. And by morning, he was ablaze with fever. And he said he had to go and work, so he tried to get up, but he fell back, and he couldn't gather the strength to rise. And he just got worse by the hour. And the doctor looked grim, and the Moabite medicine, it was more superstition than practical. And so after hours of chanting and incantations, well, I just told him to leave. And 2 days later, Mahlon comes in, complaining of the same symptoms. And he lay down, and like his brother, couldn't rise. Neither one of them ever stood again. And so after a week of agonizing pain, Chilion died. I think that was the worst of it right there, those 2 days. One son gone, and knowing that the other was soon to follow. Well, 2 funerals in as many days, and just like that, my sons were gone. So, no more workarounds for me. No more looking on the bright side. I was alone. I know, I still had Orpah and Ruth, and they were just like my own daughters to me, but you know, daughters can't provide standing. And all I could do was lead them to starvation. And the ever-present famine was getting worse in Moab, so when we received word that crops were bountiful again in Bethlehem, well, we started to plan a trip to return to my home. Maybe there we could, have a chance to stay alive. But as we started our trip, I started to have second thoughts about the girls coming with me, and so I told them to go home to their parents. They were still young. The flower hadn't completely faded like mine. And if I return to Judah and perish, I won't be taking them down with me. And if they return home to their people, maybe there they might have a chance for a good life. Yeah.
Naomi, wait! I thought I missed you.
Gosh, oh my goodness, girl, what are you doing here? Oh my gosh, we said our goodbyes.
Yes, well, we started off and I couldn't just leave you.
Ruth, we went all over this. You must return. It's your only chance for a decent life.
There's no way I can have a decent life knowing I've left behind the kindest person I've ever met.
The Lord has laid his hand against me, There's no reason for you to suffer the wrath that was intended for me.
You're like a mother to me, and I can't just leave you.
Oh, don't be foolish. You must return. Where's Orpah?
Well, she returned to her mother.
Ah, a wise choice. And I thought you were the smart one. Go and do as Orpah has done. Return to your mother's.
No, I won't leave you. I can't turn back. Where you live, I will live, and your people will be my people, and your land will be my land, and your God will be my God. And may he punish me ever so severely if I allow anything but death to separate us.
So what can I say to that? If there's one thing I know about Ruth, she's determined, God bless her. And she basically asked for a curse if I didn't let her stay with me. And one cursed person between us is enough.